Alright folks, as you can hear, the countdown has begun. And Newkirk is going to be the first map in the series. Good to see the interesting amount of votes coming in from folks. Surprisingly, not as one-sided as I thought it would be, but looks like a lot of people would prefer that we cast the games live, but from replays. I will tell you, personally, I'm a little bit biased to that one, because I love the idea of just not having a stream delay and getting to cast to people for once. But, anyways, like we said, the straw poll will not determine what the choice is, but someone was asking, and legitimately, is this all just because Stats doesn't want his game shown? And the answer to that is frankly yes. It's not hard for us to accommodate something like this. This, in my opinion, is like one of the lesser unreasonable requests we've ever received when it comes to trying to set up groups. It just was really unfortunate because it was timed out around I Am Katowice. Otherwise, we would just move the date to another day and gone about our business.
Yeah.
Anyways, we continue with the Ting Open North America group. It's Root versus Root here in the winners match. And spawning in the bottom left, we've got the purple Terran player, Semper.
In the bottom right has the green Zerg. He is PandaBearMe.
PandaBear who?
You.
PandaBearMe.
Who's on second?
Do you even know that skit, or do you just know references to that skit?
Does anyone know the entire skit? Like, they haven't memorized?
I've watched it. I've seen it.
Okay.
I don't know about having it memorized, but I just meant, like, have you actually seen, like, the original old thing? Like,
When I was really young. I used to watch Three Stooges.
To be clear, like, this isn't like a question of legitimacy, like, oh, you didn't see it, so you can't use the reference. But it's
really? Because you used that tone.
Well, I was just curious because you are younger than me, and I know that even for me, that was like an old thing to have watched. So I was curious if you had ever seen it. Was all. Because like, yeah, the who's on first, who's on second is like, God, that's like an original meme, is what that is.
I don't think that's what that is. But if you say so.
I think for its time.
I don't think we know what the memes were of the olden days.
That's what made them so great. Nobody knew that they were memes.
Yeah, it's true.
By the way,
I think my go ahead.
Just quickly before these got out of chat because I can't see them later, right? Love SE2 for the 31 months, and then Jewoosh123 for the 2 months, and then John Furnace for 3 months, but it's longer because he took a break. Either way, we're glad to have you back. Thank you for subbing. Also, I miss Love. There's no good North American Terrans anymore, dude. Well, except for Semper. Oops, I shouldn't have said that.
Wow.
But Love, come back to the game is what I'm trying to say.
Masa.
We're not casting him yet. I don't have to be apologetic.
Okay, whatever. Anyway. I'm surprised so many people were because we have a 3cc build on the way, so there's not gonna be much action anytime soon unless PandaBearMe saw it and had something to say about it, but I don't think that's the direction he's gonna go. But yeah, a surprising amount of people were kind of harsh on Stats, which is really odd, because I feel like whenever we make a harsh decision, a lot of people are not on board with us.
Well,
like, okay.
To be clear, because I've seen some of the concerns here regarding, like, well, Stats can either play or he can't type thing, and I do have that actual baseline opinion, and you guys should know from us doing this for 4 years, we're hardly trying to keep Stats in because, oh, he's such a large name. But it's not an unreasonable request, in my opinion. If it was something where he could only play one specific day for no reason, that's very different. But accommodating another tournament, like, we have to do this all the time. This is just,
yeah,
it's not at all out of the ordinary for us.
Yeah, exactly.
Shellcraft pops up, IM qualifiers pop up,
and then,
fucking IM qualifiers pop up. Like, we just...
Another thing that was brought up in chat is, like, why is it such a big deal if it's cast by replays? And I've thought about this a lot, you know? Yeah, so I'll make my point first.
You and I, just before she does, her and I are on different sides of this opinion, just so everyone's aware. Not that it's important to choose sides, but it is just worth noting.
So I would never want to cast from replays, really, like, because the options have been there. It's just easier things to do, and I'm always like, it's not that fun. And I really, like, I think about this a lot because a lot of people will say, like, what's the difference? You don't know the results. And I'd argue there's a chance that I actually do get spoiled every now and then because I either get the replays myself or, like, there's a miss-up. But anyways, even if there wasn't, like, 100% I did not know the results. I think that it has to do with the fact that you really, truly believe that you can actually affect the game. Like I want to see what studies have been done on this type of thing, right? And see if that's actually accurate. Because I feel like if I'm not there to be like, oh my god, I really hope Scarlet wins. Like, oh my god, get those Ling surrounds. Like, oh god, do it. Like, I'm not helping at all, and it makes me feel like really lame.
No, you know what it is? It's like when you lean right when you're turning right in a video game. Like, you know, you play
god,
Mario Kart.
That's exactly what it is.
Now, see, I've always been of the opinion that I would love if we could do more replay casts, because I hate waking up at 3 a.m. and I would love to just grab all the replays from these Korean events, because we could cover and pick our games more accordingly, get all the choicest matchups, and broadcast them later at, like, say 10 a.m. at a more reasonable time. And I am of the opinion that I don't follow that train of thought that you do in terms of, like, I feel like I'm affecting the game. But at the same time, I actually envy and wish I did, because that's a lot of extra excitement I think a fan gets to feel while they're watching the game. Either way, I think that at the end of the day, a show's a show, and that's why for me, like, a little bit more, I guess, despondent to it, a little bit less, like, it's not a big deal. But anyways, game has finally picked up. More in this top.
All in. Yeah. Didn't expect this, to be honest, but it is totally something that PandaBearMe can do against what he sees as a 3cc build.
But this was a big deal, right? This was entirely off of scouting, and Semper now sees this coming. Perhaps a little bit too late, because it's not enough time to crank out Cyclones to match this tank, but instead he has to put down 3 bunkers and a bit of, like, we'll say desperation. But bunkers aren't good against Ravagers. Bunkers are good against Roaches and Lings. Bunkers are not good against Ravagers. And these are just going to corrosive bile them down with relative ease.
I still think the fact that they're using the corrosive biles on the bunkers is already something to be, like, talked about, though. Generally, when I've seen all-ins, especially these old-fashioned all-ins, which is Roach Baneling with Ravager, if the bunkers are already prepared, it doesn't seem to work.
PandaBearMe doesn't actually have the high ground vision that I thought you have coming into this, by the way. So this is really awkward for engagements.
Okay, that too. He's hitting right after 1-1
Oh,
finishes.
the tank fire!
Is out.
He's focusing down the Banelings. They will still get most of the bunker damage, though.
First of Biles hit some of them too, I think. The thing is, even if he lost all of his natural SCVs, it still wouldn't matter. This is not enough damage. And honestly, at this point in time, Semper might just be better picking up everything he can and going to the main base. Definitely don't rally to the natural.
Well, I was going to say, like, okay, yeah, you can justify losing the SCVs, but you can't risk losing the game. The tank is a little bit too close for comfort, but no high ground vision. Tank goes down, but oh my god, this is still, I think, a little bit chaotic. Wait, how did he have vision of that?
The Roach ramped the ramp.
Oh, Roach is the top there. Okay, yeah. You see, the Overlord's over here. That's some nice vision.
Yeah, every Terran wishes that was the case, because the tank was definitely too close. That was a mistake, but I don't think it's game ending. Like 28 SCVs is really not still that bad, although it is kind of getting up to the point of like, it's getting to the point of no return. Good tank blast right there. It will go down, but only after killing all the Banelings and helping out with quite a few of the Ravagers.
Yeah,
and at this point, it is about PandaBearMe recovering, and he's got really not that good of upgrades. He doesn't have any tech. He doesn't have anything to deal with drops, and he isn't droning right now either, because he's trying to deal with the Marines.
So this is where, for me, it's really interesting, because PandaBearMe, like, this really is borderline enough damage. This actually did a lot more than it should have, but it is 3 CCs, excuse me, to recover from. The awkward thing is, he's supply blocked before he even gets to start recovery.
I don't know. This is kind of the teeter-totter point of, well, if Semper plays a good game, not even a perfect game, if he plays a good game from here on out, I think it's still in his favor. If he plays a perfect game, he can just go ahead and, like, smash PandaBearMe. Like, we've seen games instantly just turn on the all-inner's head because drops are everywhere at once. And if he plays, like, an okay game, I think PandaBearMe's got it.
The drops are still kind of limited, though. You gotta consider these medevacs are not only almost dead, but completely out of juice, and the Marines are still not healed up from the previous stims. So, Semper, like, he's gonna go for this attack, but I actually don't know how good it will be, oddly enough.
As long as it's a surprise, then I can get out alive. I don't, like, even if the Marines have 1 health, that's still worth it. And I'm glad the Semper isn't waiting and, like, repairing and waiting for more medevac, something like that, because I think that is crucial time that PandaBearMe gets to 60 drones, right? And that's where he's almost at right now. So he has recovered economically, and now it's just about making sure never to take any more damage.
There's no Baneling speed for quite some time, so Semper's focus fire is good. These Baneling shouldn't be too rough to deal with. And of course, comes with Baneling speed, comes with a little bit of extra health, but that's beside the point, because the point is that they're not here. Liberator sets up on this side to distract a bit. Still not pushing into that base, though. Semper still hasn't gotten damage done yet. This is a problem.
He's He's also had to pick up his CC and move it into the main base, and he's not making any SCVs, and that's another huge problem. Like, that should have either put him back up to 45, 50 SCVs already, or at least been on the third, taking up all the mules, so that his main base wouldn't be mined out as fast.
Well, I think his plan was to kind of counter all in and have mules carry him for the distance, but if that was the case, it hasn't done enough damage yet.
Yeah, that's definitely the wrong way to do it. Like, he is on 20 plus workers is enough for a Terran player to not even really have to all in, to be honest, if they have 3 mules.
Oh, he chose to focus fire at the last second. The focus fire wasn't bad, but it wasn't good either. So
18 tropes still go down, bringing them back to even as Semper does start making his SCVs once again, all rally to that third base, and this is where things start really evening out.
PandaBearMe, he's got 1-1, so he's matching upgrades. He's got Bailey's speed now, too, so there's a significant amount going for him that wasn't here 30 seconds ago, a minute ago, whenever Semper started these attacks.
That's true. Like, his tech has definitely caught up in a little bit, then some with that +2 Carapace. But Semper's army still has the control factor. Like, if he ever catches PandaBearMe off of creep, the Banelings, if his tank gets a decent shot, then his army still looks a little bit better. But we'll see. You know, there's still a decent amount of creep spread in PandaBearMe's position.
Yeah,
unfortunately, not around this.
And I really like that the new medevacs come into the fray, because the old ones are still just so out of energy. There's so much healing going on in this game, but tanks can get some shots off, maybe focus on the Banelings. He did have some really excellent focus fire in the previous engagements.
Oh, yeah,
subtle nuances, but meanwhile,
good link counterattack. Like, yeah, you bet Semper is trying to put everything into his attacks and not really rallying too nonchalantly at home.
He pulls. He tries to pick up, but it's a little bit too late. He loses most of the Marines. The SCVs got gutted. 18 of them die. 3 mules absolutely useless. That's a lot of wasted money. And while new ones land, Semper's in a world of trouble right now.
Yeah, the fact that he lost all the SCVs and the momentum with the push is just devastating. He did not pay attention to his army for 1 second. That's the tanks that firing on the Banelings taking a better trade, and that's a couple more Marines getting hit in the face with Banelings than he would have really wanted. And now mutants are out, so there's no more potential for drops, and there's even higher potential for Semper to be countered by those. PandaBearMe has kind of weathered the storm, although for a second it looked a little scary as he lost all those drones, and I think at this point he's actually kind of safe.
Well, he tries to snipe off the base, which if he had been able to get would have actually been kind of nice, but unfortunately he's pushed off once again, and PandaBearMe's defenses look ridiculously good. Even the Liberator's coming in. I mean, there's no mutas here chasing them off, but the Corsair Biles can take care of this.
Yeah, it's a little bit awkward. They're going to get a couple of drone kills, but they really shouldn't. The mutas went right to the main base, which still end up getting quite a few SCVs, so not entirely...
Yeah, it's far more devastating for Semper to lose SCVs than it is for PandaBearMe to lose drones at this point. It is not a 1-to-1 trade-off. It is like a 3-to-1 trade-off.
Yeah. Semper is going to be down to one last push soon. Getting a couple of uses, not bad.
Yep, leads us out. But look
and
at
that
all
one
these.
last push is I don't know how it's going to do it. PandaBearMe has the lightest bit of crew thread, and that's really all he needs with this army.
I don't even know how much of a necessity the crew spread is going to be, though. I mean, 22 Banelings is a considerable amount. He's got a lot of links to back that up too. Liberator's getting picked off here, as we can see, and I just feel like at this point, as long as PandaBearMe doesn't drone, he's going to be good to go.
He could probably drone. He's I guess missing some larva. He uses all of it right now, but yeah, this last round of drones shouldn't kill him. Up 20 army supply against the Terran is the reverse of what it should be, actually, in most games. So upgrades in favor of PandaBearMe. Mutas on his side to snipe these Widow Mines. No tanks for any type of explosive power, just hoping to get Widow Mine shots. And this is not a very scary looking army. And he's got to wait for this crew spread if he wants to really do anything at all. Dropping the main base isn't bad. The mutas aren't quite plentiful enough to take care of it on their own, and then they're not here. Oh, this counterattack might not be so worth.
If it kills the CC.
Okay, well, yeah.
I
was gonna say, if the Widow Mine got the good shot, then it wouldn't have been worth, but it didn't.
Well, even if the Widow Mine got the good shot, so to speak, he's already forced at that liftoff. He's up in supply like 30-something, 40 almost above his opponent, and worst of all, more SCVs died. Like this... 19 SCVs died is almost as many as there was left on the map. So yeah, GG's. PandaBearMe will take the first game here in the winners match.
Nicely done.
Very nicely done. But all right, just a reminder. Oh, excuse me. BaseTradeTV does have some chat rules, and rarely, and I want to make this very clear because there's always a misunderstanding about this. Rarely do people actually get banned. If you get banned, it's because you really went crazy bad with whatever you're saying in chat. But people are being timed out in chat. And I want to make it clear, first off, Zombie and I rarely, especially right now, do not have anything to do with that. We're busy casting the game. We don't have time to be tabbed out and pushing buttons in Twitch chat. That being said, mods usually time you out, and it's usually a purge, and it's usually like 1 second or 30 seconds. So people, I'm sure, are ready to get their panties riled up, but there are rules to the chat, guys. That little okay, got it button you clicked was supposed to be like the same as, yeah, I read the rules.
No, never.
Brand new sub coming in. Oh dear, I shouldn't have tried to say this one. Treferdit. Thank you for the Twitch Prime sub.
You know, if I say it with an accent of some type, it does sound kind of cool. If I just said it like an American, it sounds like garbage.
Sure.
I
feel like you could make that argument though for a lot of words. Where like if you're an ignorant English-speaking person trying to say a non-English word, throwing an accent could make anything sound like.
I don't think Babagoosh can sound good in any accent.
Babagoosh.
Nope.
Nope. I didn't even mean to go Borat with that one. I was going for like Italian and missed. Damn. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're getting into game number 2. So that's the wrong +1. Down here in the bottom right, he's unfortunately down a game in the series. It's going to be Roots Semper.
In the top left is the green Zerg. He is PandaBearMe.
All right, so it is the reminder that this is the winner's match. So the winner of this will go through into the round of 16. This is the first NA group, so, well, it's technically the second one, but it's playing first. We don't know who the other 2 players in the group are yet. This was set and determine the stage for said group. The loser of this game will fall to fight against M. Canning in one ultimate finals of the tournament. And I gotta tell you, the story I'm hoping for at this point is PandaBearMe gets out in first place. Semper falls to fight against M. Canning. M. Canning, rather than getting beat senselessly twice, well, I can't say that word, ends up taking it back and qualifies through over Semper. Now, I'm not saying that I'm cheering for or against Semper in any way, shape, or form, but it is the cooler story, in my opinion.
Sounds like you're cheering against him.
Yep.
I'm not sure there's many other ways to take that. No, I don't mind if any one of these players gets through. I think M. Canning's going to provide those cool games, the Disruptors. Semper's going to provide the NA Terran Hope if Massa doesn't, or both of them. Well, I don't care. And PandaBearMe will just continue to impress me because I don't know much about this guy, and he's done good work in this specific tournament so far. So I look forward to having another NA person to cheer for.
You know what I just realized you did? You American you.
What's that?
You just fake newsed me.
What? How?
By trying to make it look like I was your alternative facts to what I had just described, try to paint a different narrative than what I was portraying. It's not appreciated.
You're trying really hard with this, and that just sounds like Canada in a nutshell. You try and be American, and you just fail every day. That Reaper goes down. You can't even be mad at me. You know it's not true. You know I'm living a lie and Canada's much better.
I know. That's why I've chosen not to say anything.
It's like I did something bad and you just gave me the disappointed stare and I'm like, I know I'm wrong.
See, I know that feeling all too well. Painting yourself into a corner and all that. Anyways, silliness aside, we do have Hellions coming out of Semper, so he's going to be changing this up a bit. Maybe even going for a Banshee, ? I mean, last game, keep in mind, he did play a little bit more to the, I guess describe it, the macro side of things. Point is, he didn't scout that there was a big attack coming, and when you do Hellions in anything with an opening, Hellion Reaper, Hellion Banshee, or whatever this is with a Hellion Viking, you at least get to see what's going on. He'd see that Roach Warren coming down quick if that was the case, and he'd know if there was another all-in on the way.
Yeah. Yeah, that problem last game was not really the scouting. It was just it's one of those games that you're so mad at because you did see it and you had bunkers and you absolutely should have held. But you just didn't. You know, your tanks were out of position twice. You should have picked up and you thought maybe you could take on Ravagers and you couldn't. And then you could have saved SCVs and you didn't. Like, I hate those types of games because I wish the player would face me again on ladder and that they would do the exact same thing and I'd show them that I knew what to do. But that's unlikely to happen. If PandaBearMe did all in again, it might do fine still, even though it's not a 3cc build, but it would have been a risky move for sure. Because I think he also recognized like that second tank, you know, on the high ground specifically, that was alive and well. That would have been a much different game, amongst other things that happened too. I
wish there was a Korean player named Well now.
Well, that's just a dumb name.
Well, so are most, but like Alive and Well goes well together, and we actually see Alive play all the time. It'd be a good combo. I'd like it. Feels bad, man. Anyways, pick up of 4 Hellions, looking to go through to the natural, perhaps. He does have these other 4 still roaming about, and with the armory on the way and Stimpak, it's like maybe a weird Hellbat pairing, or he might just be going for purely harass. I'm really curious to see whether he continues, because he's still making Hellions. Like, I'm curious how much he's going to invest into the potential Hellbats here.
Well, if he thinks PandaBearMe is going to play a lane Baneling game, which so far he is, then a follow-up Hellbat addition to a Marine push would be kind of hard for him to deal with. It'd be such a surprise, I guess, rather. Like, he'll have Banelings, and he'll have Lings, and even have upgrades, because it's a much later attack than a normal Hellbat attack. But it might just be the extra bit of oomph that could really work. I don't know, though. Sometimes just enough Banelings to deal with just about anything. Well, we'll see. The 1-1 just starts. The armory has not been used. And I guess it is about waiting for that Marine push.
8 Hellions. Right outside that third base. Not quite scouted. And, well, okay, it's scouted now. Well, he sees all the Hellbats, too. Okay, Overlord now gives clear vision, but...
Okay. Alright. I mean, okay, so this ends up being a bit later than most Hellbat attacks, but earlier than a Marine attack, and it still is up against no Banelings, so I guess it's... Okay.
He's really hesitant to move to that spine, but they ended up costing him the medevac, and I really... you guys haven't played this. The Hellbats have no problem taking on a spine and queens, even if there are transfuses. But losing them like this needlessly, causing almost no damage, is worse.
Yeah, that still ended up really awkward. I mean, the lack of Banelings looked scary for a second, and then PandaBearMe just pulled away the drones, and it was nothing. At least he still saved 6 plus these 2 Hellbats, and that's a lot of Hellbats to still add on to that eventual Marine push I was talking about. And of course, they'll be healed by the medevacs.
Hopefully, at least. The reason this is interesting to see, though, is in the past, people would experiment with using Hellbats over Widowmines in terms of production, and there was some merit to it for certain for a while. But then it just turns out Widowmines, even if they get the worst shots, are still a better gamble than Hellbats, because Hellbats are guaranteed to soak hits and get some kills, but rarely do they be that effective.
Yeah. I'm a little surprised that he hasn't gone for tanks. Like, double surprised there's no Widowmines either, but like tanks is what I kind of expect on the Abyssal Reef.
Yeah, you know what? And he had really good focus fire. I really liked his tank usage, albeit it still ended up being a loss, but I still like seeing his tanks last game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And just there's a lot of places on Abyssal Reef, especially like if you break down the rocks and PandaBearMe takes that 4th base that you can kind of abuse, and I don't know, I'm not saying it's the only way to play, but I've seen a lot more Terrans do it, and then I've seen a lot more Zergs play Roaches despite what seem to be dangers to either composition, I suppose, on this map. I really like Abyssal Reef. I just want to say that really quickly because I've seen some people say that's a terrible map, and I don't know why, because I actually think that it's created some of the funnest games and the most dynamic with all the compositional choices, because we've even seen mech at this point.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. Looks like the counterattack with the Lings proves to fall a little bit flat. They're still just kind of scattering away, but Semper doesn't want to let these turn into Banelings, I guess, so he's hunting them down. Let's see, Baneling speed is finished too, so if the fight comes down to it, on creep especially, that's going to be really nice. Corpse is still flying, Jesus. This wall is a little bit unconventional, but I mean, it will prevent rolling in from the high ground, as we've seen players do on this map, so...
it's becoming a lot more common. It just sucks against Vitas. I say that.
Yeah, when can Terran build air blockers, please? Hello?
One day.
I would air block the
Oh,
shit out of my main. But,
no.
oh, that's a lot of mutas going down for pretty much nothing. Meanwhile, this gives Semper the time to set up pretty comfortably on the left side. He's got Widow Mines down. He's going to advance his forces, and mutas are going to take a long time to kill these depots.
Yeah,
he's just going to lose them. Oh, shredded.
This is really bad use of his mutas. Oh, but that was a pretty risky attack by Semper. His Banelings... The Banelings ended up hitting a lot of the Hellbats, and he saves out of the Marines, so I guess it wasn't as bad as it looked being on creep.
Yeah.
12 drones are killed by the Liberators, and now they're protecting the Marine drop.
Yeah, this is actually still damage that could be worthwhile. Keep in mind, PandaBearMe is actually down in army supply a pretty significant amount. The worst part is he's lost a lot of expensive units, like those mutas, like the Banlings up to this point. As he comes on in, there's just no way to really deal with this. The 7 mutas being remade right now might pick off the medevacs, but they're still going to die to things like Marines.
Even this Viking's still alive.
6 kills with this Overlord. Jeez.
Jeez. So save what he can. The Widow Mines are finally getting cleaned up, and PandaBearMe finds some breathing room as everything settles down. And he's not a terrible economy or a terrible army. It's not great though either. What really sucks is that he is also behind in upgrades amongst all this other stuff going on here. The one good thing is that he has a moment to breathe, and he has some decent creeps.
Yeah, and Semper actually hasn't started his 3-3, interestingly enough. Chooses to focus on more medevacs and drilling claws, which I don't blame him for. He does recognize that he's got a lot of momentum from killing the Mutalisks and trading out with the Banelings, but I think selling out his upgrades might just be costly. Oh, he's going to pick off a nice amount of queens here. That's going to be all those creep tumors now gone and not replaced.
Yeah, that was really helping PandaBearMe, and he was moving this on the left side because that's where he desperately needed creep to continue going. That's where his bases are, after all. So if he ever takes this right side of the map, he'll have a lot of advanced notice of pushes, but it's, that's a long ways off, and he's losing out here. I definitely would want him to make another queen to spread creep, but he's not thinking about it right now. He's thinking about trying to get up to Ultralists, which is possible. Semper could play too passive of a game. Maybe he doesn't have enough splash, never really wants to push in or something like that. The Swarm Host, I don't know about.
2 of them, like, 1 feels like a misclick, 2 feels like you couldn't afford to make more, and 3's like I made a bad choice versus bio.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess that's yeah, sure. Well, 2 Storm Hosts can be used, I guess, to attack up on these ledges for harassment, just run away after, I suppose. But man, Semper is just dealing so much damage with these drops. Even though PandaBearMe has remade mutas to at least have a decent amount to take care of the drops, they aren't doing a great job about it.
Yeah, this was a pretty awesome change up, by the way. Like, just the choice to the choice to have anything odd against bio is risky, because it's just like there's a reason you don't build things like Swarm Hosts or get hives at ill timing. So some Zerg players in Korea especially, they have to stick to lair. They never actually go for hive. They never get to ultras, and they win plenty of games through that way. What PandaBearMe is doing right now is a little bit risky, especially with how down in supply he is. Maybe a little bit. I'll say it could cost him the game.
Well, he's been trying to get this one Widow Mine to pop up for a long time. Okay, now he's going to move in, but only after losing all the creep spread. The reinforcements come in from Semper too. Decent splits. Mutas run over Marines.
He put a lot of money into the mutas too. These aren't going to carry him to victory the way he wants them to. They might get some of the medevacs at the end, which would be nice, but here's that rally of reinforcements. It only takes a couple of Marines to drive this off.
Oh, PandaBearMe did not really have that much of a bank either, so... Well, the army supplies really aren't that bad. This is much more of a comfortable range for the Zerg. They're not here right now. GG.
GG. All right, so that's going to tie things up 1-1. And we're going to go to a game 3 for certain. I do have to go look into a couple of things, though. We are going to play an ad break anyways, so we'll see you guys in 2 minutes with the third and final map of the winners match when we return. Alright, well, you all hear the beeps, so I'm not going to waste any time. We're just going to hop to the in-game scene as we hop to Paladino Terminal for the third and final game in this best of 3. For those who might just be tuning in, or maybe you haven't been following too closely with how tonight's been going, to explain real quick, this group stage, not too dissimilar to what you've seen on GSL and otherwise. This is actually at a point where the winner of this will go through to the round of 16. The loser will fall to play one final best of 3 tonight against M. Canning in the finals of the group. Spawning here in the bottom right, he took a convincing game 1 and a really harsh game 2. It is the Green Zerg, PandaBearMe.
In the top left is the Purple Terran. It is Root Semper.
So I know we have a bunch of things you need to get caught up on because people have been complaining in chat. So you want to take the time to do that, I guess, while this opens?
Yeah, thanks for that. I thought I was going to do that before the ad break, and you went into it. But that's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Thanks to Bad Decaf, who just subscribed for 23 months. I should get a part 2. Did you put in for a part 2, or are you just giving me a wiggy face for no reason? Thank you to ZvT, which we just... Did we shout that out?
Yeah, but there's ones before that, and Terminator's bits.
Terminator donated 300 bits. This includes a chip bag called Bobbish worth 8 Muxy 100. A Plumpus, which is worth 6.5 Muxy 100, and a few solo party cups with 12.5 Muxy.
Is that a Plumbus or a Plumpus?
I don't know.
Well, how's it spelled?
Plumbus.
The Plumbus. Oh man, have you ever seen how a Plumbus is made, Zombie Grub?
No. They get a Lumberjack for the 2-month resub. Love the stream. Riptide. Kraj for 27 months. John Furnace for 3 months. Douche, 2 months. Love, and then so on and so forth. And then I don't know where this one came in that the guy said how to pronounce it, but yeah. So we have a game here, but it's been scouted and such already reacted to. As Semper CD, do everything that's going on.
And real quick, by the way, again, to explain what just happened there. So I guess for whatever reason, the last 2 days I've been having a lot of issues with Streamlabs, and like the page will be open, it'll be working fine at the start of the cast, and it'll just break on me. And while yes, these things will be updated, and you can still see things in game like alerts, I can't because it's on XSplit on the other monitor. It's too small for me to read. So again, apologies. We're not missing you on purpose or anything. If anyone feels slighted by it, please know that it's just a technical hiccup, I guess we could say. But okay, PandaBearMe definitively staying on one base. Semper's already preparing multiple bunkers in anticipation of this. And Ravagers on this map. I mean, between a laser and like every other Zerg, this seems to be the map people choose to do it on.
Okay, Cyclones instead of a tank coming out here.
I like that a lot.
It will come out faster. You have to wait for the tech lab after all. But,
well, the problem is Cyclones won't have much bonus damage to bring versus the Ravager, but the thing with the tank is if you set it up in the wrong spot and they cross a violet, like we actually saw in the first game, then it's just gone instantly.
Yeah, I mean, I completely get that, sure, but I still think the tank is the better way to go. You're really worried that they're gonna break the wall and then.
I'm not disagreeing. I think the tank is the better choice, but I think it's smart because Semper maybe doesn't have confidence in his tank, if that makes sense, you know? And rather than panic for a tech lab that he doesn't have, he gets a Cyclone out, so he's actually got something to fight with at least. Crossbow's 90 once again. Not quite enough to one-shot those bunkers.
Ravages will go down pretty quick to Cyclone. Not a lot of health in them. But the Cyclone doesn't have a lot of range either, so it's being hit at the same time. So unless the SCVs really want to repair. There we go.
Yeah, I wonder if he may be better off just trying to, rather than poke at the Ravagers the way he has been, target down the Overlord. Because for those who really don't know, the key to this is that Overlord. It's not the amount of Ravagers that are made. 3, 6, 10, doesn't matter if they don't have high ground vision. But now they've got the top of the ramp, he broke it, and this is getting to be problems. Banshee's on the way. I guess she can eventually push this back.
Yeah, the Banshee's fine. Again, this is like the Cyclone was fine enough, but it was really the bunkers buying time for the Banshee, and it could have been buying time for a tank as well. I think it's the cleaner way to go about it. The Banshee's gonna get a couple last shots on a lot of these very weak Ravagers, and this will still be it. Cyclone goes down. Whoopsie.
That was a whoopsie. But yes, the Ravagers get cleaned up. The thing is, neither player really walks out of this in such a great spot. Like, there's no second CC down. There's no natural hatchery. Both players have kind of whatever for workers. But it's PandaBearMe who invested everything on the front lines and lost it. Semper didn't. So as he retaliates, even with just the Banshee, there's just not a lot to fend it off. Yeah,
there's really no hope for a Zerg player without a second base. It's even more hope if the second base is proxy that's still second base. But absolutely not at all. It's doom and gloom. Attack advantage goes so severely in Semper's favor. I've been in trouble killing this last Ravager, sure, but the Banshee's going across the map. It's going to ensure that a second base never comes down. It's going to pick off whatever drones it can. If a second Banshee comes forward, it can start picking off the queens, and there'll be nothing besides that Spore Crawler to save the hatchery, even. Like, PandaBearMe is going to have to hope that the queen can do all the work ever, which he can't. Or that he builds enough Spore Crawlers to you know, triangle around the hatchery. Okay, a lair. I guess he's thinking about maybe... Well, it's the thing about only having one hatchery is you can't get a lair and also more queens. Because I was going to say, if you get an Overseer, then you just depend on queens. But that's not the case. Oof. They get a Mr. Boris. Knock her off with 25-month pre-sub.
Bowris. Ah, the Cyclones have no fear from the Spore Crawlers, unlike the Banshees. In fact, if you wanted to, with the Cyclones and the Banshees, you could easily melt both those Spore Crawlers. In fact, there you go. Just Cyclones alone going to get that job done. So this might not be quite the turnaround for the group that I was hoping for in terms of storyline, but it's still really awesome to see Semper do well. He's going to get out of the group in first place. GG. Well played. And congratulations to Semper for being the first North American player to make the round of 16.
Yay, Canada.
And of course, for those who are unfamiliar with our overall format, this round of 32, all best of 3 group stage, leads to a round of 16, where it's going to be all best of 5 group stage. But this leads to the final match of the night. It's going to be M. Canning versus PandaBearMe, so a PVZ to finish things off. We're going to go to another word from our sponsors. We'll be back here shortly. But again, for those who don't know what TING is, if you're in the United States of America, check this out. This is made for you. There's going to be snooty Europeans and spoiled Koreans and whatever in chat that have like way better phone plans. But the thing is, if you're in Canada or more importantly, specifically the United States, you know that phone plans kind of suck. And there's not a lot of good ones. And some of you guys out there on great family plans, cool beans. But for the rest of us, the majority of us, TING is actually a really great cost-effective alternative. And the best part is that you don't pay any sort of monthly contracts in terms of like, oh, you're stuck with them for a year. If you want to use them for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, by all means, go ahead. What are you looking so smug for? Okay, anyways, so that's what's great. Try them out for a month. If you don't like it, then go back to your old phone plan. But the thing is, if you go to the BTTV, where is it? Down here, bttv.ting.com link, you'll get $25 in credit. So you can basically try a month for free. Because most phone bills on Ting, especially if you're somebody like us who are on Wi-Fi all the time, your phone bill is going to be like $20 a month, $30 a month. Like, it's not going to be much. It's worth checking out. Plus, not to mention the SIM card, I think it's like $5 at like Staples. It's really, really cheap to try. I use it for roaming. Zombie Grub, she uses it for like her main phone plan. And it's good stuff, guys. We can vouch for it. Anyways, word from said sponsors. We'll be back in a bit.
Data is now cheaper on Ting. From now on, prices look like this. Need more? It's just $10 a gig. That's what new customers pay. That's what current customers pay. It's simple. We like simple. See for yourself at ting.com/rates.
To be honest, I had a hard time narrowing it down to one thing.
24-month contracts, terrible customer service.
We're paying too much for features that we never use.
No, I don't need a car charger. I don't need a screen protector. Can I just please buy a phone?
Contracts.
Carriers love it because they have customers locked into these contracts. They agree to pay the money every month.
So you think we'd get pretty good service, right? Wrong.
Please listen carefully to the following options, as the menu has recently been updated to further frustrate our customers into hanging up prematurely.
They should only charge customers for what they actually use.
If I use 80, I use 80. If I use 30, I use 30. If I use 50, I use 50.
Why does everything have to be so complicated?
And this is why Ting is like a breath of fresh air.
I have Ting, and my bill won't bother me anyway.